What's 223, Patrick? Oh, I don't remember the bill numbers. This gentleman up here is asking me about gun control. Folks, United States, this was about a month and a half, 2 months ago. 1 week, we had the long gun bill, the open carry bill, and the lead ban bill. And we had 4 other bills to destroy charter schools. All in the same day in 2 days. Pat, I got up and argued. It seems to me, ladies and gentlemen, of this honorable body, that you all, or a lot of you, think that law-abiding gun owners and charter schools are the enemy. What is wrong with you? Because there are so many bills. They will continue. Now, we've had some good Supreme Court decisions. That's very encouraging, Pat. We had a good spirited fight in the Assembly on those bills. We had some people that I didn't think might hold off, at least hold off on those bills. But that majority wants to disarm, and folks, that's what they want to do, all these noble arguments about you don't want to kill the ducks with the lead. That's not what that's about. In fact, I observed that, you know, what we're trying to do is make criminals out of those who are not now criminals, law-abiding gun owners who possess long guns and do open carry legally, and all of a sudden they're going to be the bad ones, and all the bad ones who don't care about those sorts of rules. And Jim Nielson, head of the Board of Prison Terms, have dealt with hundreds of thousands of them, folks. They don't go to the gun shows to buy their guns. They don't worry about the paperwork burden of registering. So we carry the fight, and it has to continue. And that's another message to the Tea Party. That being, I think it is to you folks, a big deal issue. Well, rally the troops. And you know, when we had those bills before us, my officers couldn't probably transmit any other calls except all the calls coming in from you. Don't do that. Well, of course, I'm on your side. That's fine. But I think my point is not don't call me. We love the calls. We're on your side. But call people other places, wherever, that you can think, particularly in Democratic area districts, so they know people that they represent don't like it either. And thank you for the question, Patrick. Sir.
Before I get back to State Whitman, I think that the federal government is never going, at least the present federal government, is never going to close borders. They want the votes. I would like to see Meg Whitman join the Arizona governor in doing the same thing in California that she did. So how do we turn her around? Do the Tea Party people write to her?
Yeah, that's a good call. It's about how do you turn Meg Whitman around. Now, I said that I have good access to Meg, and I've voiced my disagreement on that part of her position. I've endorsed the rest of it, and I'm going to keep talking. But yes, indeed, communicate to her, send letters through the campaign, indicating that, you know, maybe you agree with her on these certain things, but you take issue, do it respectfully, and say why. This is a real problem, Meg Whitman, and we think it needs to be handled in a much more assertive and aggressive way. Thank you very much. That is our position. Those cards and letters will get attention. Let me go way to the back and back up here.
Jim, on the State Personnel Board website, we've got about 2,200 jobs that are being actively recruited, which represents about 10%. State employee billings that are open.
That are still open.
Yeah.
I would expect there are a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, well, why can't those jobs be privatized?
Oh, another delightful fight. Another one of my career battles, okay? We were talking about it today, related to a lot of money being spent in water projects because of, well, professional engineers in state governments, okay? They're pretty powerful. And they're pretty darn good at feather bedding. Okay? I don't want to be bad-mouthing them too much, but it's a good example because it was just something I spent about, what, a 45-minute meeting on or more today with a fine man that was telling me how he could be saving an awful lot of money by privatization. It can happen. And it will happen. Charter schools is another example in the school area. It's not to say privatization, but it is unfettering education from some of these mandates and some of the burdens. The same thing in terms of the state employee jobs that are coveted, that are jealously protected, the authorities and responsibilities that are grossly extended day after day. Most of the time, no, not. Some of the time, illegally even, by the way. They come out and tell you you have to do something, and you say, hey, wait, what law and regulation requires that? Ask that question first. I'm sorry, I have to tell you this story. This is several months ago, but when my guy, Mark Spanik, was in my Yuba City office, he gets a call from a businessman, a little small business owner that has a furniture, an office furnishing store. And he's got a state bureaucrat at the Department of Consumer Affairs in saying, I'm going to take four of your chairs, $1,100 office chairs, because we need to take them and test them and burn them to see if they emit any toxic fumes. Well, he is desperate. I'm going to lose 4 chairs, $4,400. So he calls my guy, and Mark runs right over, Johnny on the spot. And he used my line. What statutory authority, what regulation? I represent Senator Nielson, which is his bureaucrat said, well, I'm from the Department of Consumer Affairs. He said, that's not an answer. Well, so she went packing. It took them 2 weeks to come and concoct a letter to me telling me what authority they had, which I still disagree with. Now, that's just one of the most recent examples. Wow. Do we have a fight to fight? You bet we do. And those are some examples of what? Right here, sir.
You know, back to education, we've got different standards for public school and charter schools. Why don't we fix, instead of praising the charter schools and bashing the public schools, why don't we level the playing field on the legislation side so that they're all operating from the same standpoint?
Well, Sir, that's exactly what the anti-charter school people want to do. They want charter schools to operate the same failed way that public schools operate.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm making the extension of the argument. I'm reversing the argument. Absolutely. And it's in a small part, this categorical disengagement, returning to local control, that's a very small, well, that's not small, that's pretty significant. Kind of a bit of a change. It's a tiny change. Well, but it's been a long, hard fought change. Okay, so that's a step in the right direction. But let me just tell you, of all the lobby influences, the public education establishment is one of the most powerful that there is. They push pretty hard. And it is well that they have not won more than they win. It is well that charter schools have survived and many other things. So that's another Tea Party challenge. If you care about competition in public education and excellence and quality, stand up for it. Stand up to support charter schools. Stand up to oppose the attempts to diminish charter schools. Support other reforms in public education when they come up time and time again. I'm a long-time bilingual education battler. I was telling one of my former staff guys, we were riding up to a meeting here the other day, and I reminded him when I spoke to 400 bilingual educators in Los Angeles about 25 years ago. And I remember telling them, this was in Los Angeles, I said, you know, you are doing a disservice to the children you're purporting to serve. You are not transitioning them rapidly into dominant English. You are immersing them in the dominant language. And so that they end up illiterate in 2 languages. They don't learn the dominant really any better. And they don't learn English. And I found out why. I figured out why. It's job security. If they don't transition out of your bilingual language, you've got more students in the seats. I was not very popular. But I didn't get moved because I think they were so stunned I had the temerity to make that statement. They didn't even move. I got out of there without getting lynched. Yeah.